Hey guys, guess what today's book talk is going to be about? That's right, City of Heavenly Fire. Look at how big this thing is. I'm sorry, this is going to be a very long book talk today. Okay, guys, before we continue on with this probably 15-minute long video that I'm going to have today, if you don't want spoilers, stop watching this video now. If you don't mind, if you have read the book, if you want to fangirl with me, if you want to talk about these things that happened, keep watching this video. But I am warning you right now, this is going to be a very spoiler heavy video, and I do not want to spoil the book for anyone. I was able to make it through this book with pretty spoiler free, and I think that everyone deserves that right. So before I continue on with this book talk, I am completely 100% serious. This is going to be a very spoiler heavy video. So I apologize if anybody wanted to watch this and not have spoilers. I have tried talking about this book without giving spoilers, and it's just not possible. All right, can we talk about my color coding system? Pink, or how many times the infernal devices are mentioned in this book. The orange is all the times the dark artifices and the last hours are mentioned in this book. The blue are the deaths. That this book went on for way too long. It was 733 pages. It didn't need to be 733 pages because we didn't need to know all the crap that we learned about the infernal devices and the last hours and the dark artifices that we are going to be reading about soon. That is what all of these post-its are. Come on. Like, I understand. Yes, she is milking this Shadowhunter train for all she can. She is. We're going to have 5 Shadowhunter series by the time everything is said and done. We're going to have the infernal devices, the last hours. We have the immortal instruments, the dark artifices, and then the dark powers, I believe. And not only that, but there's also going to be the Bane Chronicles. So you have to, like, give her props because this was a walking advertisement for those. I understand that the infernal devices are tied in really well with the Immortal Instruments series. I felt like it was a game to her to see how many times she could mention it. Very vaguely. They mention a lot of things. They mention the London Institute a lot. They mention the power guarding the London Institute. They talk about Tessa a lot. Obviously, something happens with Zachariah. There's Gem stealing church at the end of the book, which I actually thought was fucking hilarious. You find out that Gem and Tessa are going to be a part of the Dark Artifices and all of those kids at the Los Angeles Institute. And you find out Tessa's involvement with Clary's life and with Jocelyn. It's a nice tie-in, but I really felt like it was too much. She overdid it in this book. Because, you know, in the last book, in City of Lost Souls, there was the mention of the Tale of Two Cities with the inscription in the front, Sebastian Jace has, and all of that. So there are nice moments of seeing into Tessa and Will and Gem's life in the last 3 Mortal Instrument books, but this one overdid it a lot. There was just way too much. And there was so much going on. There were so many characters in this book that at times I was skimming through certain parts because I wanted to get to our main group. Because the reason why I love the Mortal Instruments series isn't because of the infernal devices. And it isn't because I'm really excited about reading the dark artifices. It's because I love Alec, Isabel, Jason, Clary, and Simon, and Magnus. I love them. I love their dynamic. I love this group. I have been reading about this group. I fucking sat through City of Fallen Angels. I barely made it through that one, but I did it because I love these characters. And I hated that a lot of their story was being overshadowed by the tie-ins to the other Shadowhunter books. And that is really the only issue I had with this book. I love this book. I love this book. It is now my favorite Mortal Instruments book, but I really wish that she would have toned down the blatant advertisement for her next Shadowhunter series. Okay, so we need to talk about a few things. Simon. I love Simon in this book. This book took us back to The Simon and Jace banter. I love Alec in this book. He is sassy and awesome. He's heartbroken, obviously. I love him being a smartass. Back to Jace. I loved it. And I love seeing Jace and Alec really coming together and explaining more about their parabatai and how they feel about each other, because in fucking last 2 books, Jace is pretty much just, you know, possessed. So you finally get to see, you know, Jace and Clary being the team that they are. And Clary is obviously coming to her own as a shadow hunter, and she's finally really comfortable with herself. She just goes out and does shit. She just does what she has to do, like she has in the rest of the books, but she does things a little bit more cautiously now because she is very aware that everything that she does affects everybody around her. It's very nice to see that change in her. I love Magnus. I will forever love Magnus Bane. I absolutely love him because no matter what, no matter how many times he talks about how he's done with the Shadowhunters, how he doesn't want to help Shadowhunters, how he hates Shadowhunters, he has such a soft spot for these dark-haired, blue-eyed boys, and I love him and Alec together, and it's perfect. I love that Simon and Isabel finally had some time in this book, and Simon was just a mess. But Simon's finally over Clary. It's awesome. And I know he was pretty much in the last book, but it really kind of dives into that and Isabel's insecurities about Clary and all of that, and how they now feel like a family. And I love that. I loved that dynamic, how the dynamic of the group changed, and it was something that was needed in the books, and I'm so glad it finally happened. Sorry, I'm trying to rush through this because I don't want a 15-minute long video. Okay, so Sebastian in the Endarkened. So I fucking love Sebastian. I love to hate Sebastian. I really do. I think that he is the perfect bad guy. I think that he is 10 times worse than Valentine. It's the kind of bad guy you relate to, because yeah, he's bad, and yeah, he like has this crazy like romantic interest in his sister, but you have to understand, like, he's fucked up. He is. Like, his dad fucked him up. And not only that, but he's got the blood of Lilith in him. He's just so bad. I really am glad that he didn't get knocked down in the first couple chapters, because I wanted to know what the fuck he was doing. I loved Edom. I loved that whole them going into Edom and seeing what happened to the Shadowhunters that were in this realm, that it completely is just taken over, and it's a mirror of Alicante. It's interesting to see that Jocelyn opening up a little bit to Sebastian about how she feels. The way that they cast Jocelyn in the City of Bones movie, it was kind of perfect. She just needed red hair, which they could have just put a fucking wig on her. I don't understand why they didn't. But they cast her perfectly, because that's who I see now when I read these books. And I see Jocelyn as fucking Cersei talking shit to Sebastian. I totally see it that way, and so I kind of think it makes it better. She is explaining herself, explaining what happened with Valentine, and you kind of getting more of a feel of what she was feeling about Jonathan. It was really great. I loved seeing that dynamic and her interacting with Sebastian finally. I also love how evil he is in the Endarkened. I think it's great that the Endarkened cannot be saved. I know that's kind of like fucked up that I think that, but I mean, they're demons, basically, so they should die. I liked that parallel. The fucking fairies, man. Of course fairies are evil. Fairies are fucking snarky bitches. I don't know why anyone like didn't catch on to that they're fucking evil. I love that Maya fucking just took charge, and that was great. That finally the vampires and the werewolves came together in the time of need, when it was absolutely necessary, and stood with the Shadowhunters, even though they weren't physically there to fight. I need to talk about Simon for a minute. Ending, when you find out who Magnus's dad is and all of that, after they get sealed into Edom and they have to figure out how the fuck they're gonna get back, or else they're gonna all die. Find out who Magnus's father is. And it's just kind of fucking crazy. Magnus is willing to sacrifice himself to save everybody, but fucking Simon is just like, fuck y'all bitches. I don't want to be a vampire. Like, just take my immortality. I can be a fucking 17-year-old kid again. I can see my mom. Please just take this from me. But the twist is that he can't remember who everybody is. But obviously, fucking Cassandra Clare is going to put a bow on everything. God damn it. I was really hoping. That is why I have an honorary blue Post-it. So Simon is done. She should have left it. She should have left it that he didn't remember anybody. She should have left it. But no. No. He has to have a band called the Mortal Instruments. Fucking Magnus has to come and save the day for Isabel and Clary, and he's going to rise in ascension and probably be part of the Dark Artifices. So we have more Simon. But at least he's not a fucking snarky vampire anymore with the Mark of Cain. I think I was expecting more carnage, a higher body count. It is a nice ending to the Mortal Instruments, and I do like the fact that we're going to be seeing a lot of Tessa and Jem in the next series. I'm so glad. I'm actually like really glad about it because I love Tessa, Jem, and Will. And we're going to be seeing Will and Tessa in the last hours because it's their fucking kids. Obviously, we're going to be seeing Jem and Tessa together for the Dark Artifices because they follow Emma Carstairs to the Los Angeles Institute. Oh, something I wanted to talk about. Jace and Clary finally doing things, finally getting intimate, right? They're in fucking Edom. They've been fighting demons, been sprayed with demon blood. They're filthy. Their clothes are like melting. All of that. Jace still has a sealed condom. I laughed my ass off. Because of course, I mean, congratulations, Cassandra Clare. Obviously, safe sex is important, but they're in hell fighting demons and they find time to do it. And he has a condom. Good thinking. Good job. Good job, Jace. Sorry, I just thought it was fucking hilarious. I do also like the fact that they mention Max in this book, because I kind of feel like Max's death in City of Glass was just kind of like swept under the rug. It's not mentioned that much in City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls, so it was really nice that they're mourning him in this book, and they talk about it. And they talk about the change it has on their parents and how they feel about their parents. And it's really important that that was brought up and talked about. And I'm so glad that Jace finally decided on a surname. That he finally picked one. Finally. After fucking 6 books, we finally know his last name. Finally. Good job, Jace. Good job. Alright, so I'm excited to see the roller coaster that Cassandra Clare is going to continue to take us on with these Shadowhunter books. And sorry, this was a very long video, and thanks for sticking it out, guys. But I will post links to my Tumblr and my Goodreads below. Please feel free to talk to me about these books because I need to talk about them with people. Please, please, please talk to me about them. Everyone have a great weekend, and hopefully you won't see my face for a while because I have like a horrible book hangover because of this book, and I probably won't be picking up another book for the rest of the week. So I'm sorry, there probably won't be a video next week, but if there is, that means I got over this book hangover quicker than I thought I was going to. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.